Hello everyone! Welcome back to Ada's third webinar series. If you're being introduced to HEARTCOUNT for the first time, it's a user-friendly SaaS solution for data visualization and analysis. Best of all, you can access it for free using your Google account. Today, we'll delve into visualization at the individual record level. We aim to understand and visualize data not just at aggregate levels, but at individual record depths. So are you ready to begin? Let me start the slideshow. Okay, for those of you who have gone through our past webinar series, we've talked about EDA, exploratory data analysis, several times. EDA encompasses the majority of tasks a data practitioner or data analyst undertakes, except modeling. This includes inspecting data sets or data quality, summarizing, visualizing, and generating hypotheses. In essence, EDA provides a quantitative and factual description of data. The essence of EDA lies in factually and quantitatively describing data. It involves profiling data, drawing comparisons, and identifying relationships. Comparisons are pivotal, from simple variable comparisons to understanding multi-dimensional relationships. For instance, when analyzing a business metric like total sales, we often need a deeper interpretation. Comparing sales across different quarters or product lines can offer profound insights as well. Our focus today is on individual record level visualization. Why is this necessary? When we avoid such visualization, we often default to summary statistics like averages. While averages give an intuitive overview, they come with challenges. Averages fail to robustly represent statistics. They don't differentiate between typical values and outliers, which can lead to misleading insights. An example might be bus passengers' average income being skewed by a few high-income individuals. Another example can be about their body weight. Thus, understanding data holistically is imperative, emphasizing both averages and individual record insights. We'll also discuss correlations today. Correlation is easy to understand mathematically. It starts with calculating covariance, determining the direction of two sets of numbers. However, because covariance scales vary, we use the correlation coefficient, which lies between -1 and 1, to denote strength and linearity of the relationship. However, correlations also have pitfalls. For instance, they might overlook significant non-linear relationships like example 3. Visualizing individual records is essential, but granularity isn't always beneficial. When analyzing correlations between, say, neuroticism scores and salary levels, different patterns may emerge when subgrouping by their education level. This dynamic can be observed in the accompanying images, emphasizing the variability in relationships. Here's another example. This graphic illustrates that even when the correlation coefficient approaches 0, there can still be a discernible relationship as seen between political interest and political orientation, whether conservative or progressive. To ensure we don't miss such vital relationships, it's essential to delve into individual records and analyze their distribution. Box plots are common tools for viewing data distribution. They categorize data into quartiles, with the box denoting the median, which is often more stable than averages. The whiskers typically extend to the extreme data points, though variations may arise depending on the tool. And the IQR, interquartile range, is the gap between Q1 and Q3. Conventionally, we set a limit of 1.5 times the IQR, and any data beyond this is considered an outlier. This method traces back to early statistical methods. Data points outside the whiskers are demand anomalies, while the box contains roughly 50% of the data. Multiple box plots can be juxtaposed to understand relative differences. The Anscombe's Quartet, a collection of datasets with nearly identical statistical properties, yet distinct graphical representations, exemplifies the dangers of solely relying on summary statistics. Hence, visualization and comprehensive understanding are pivotal. In line with our discussions, both statistical measures and visualizations must be viewed in tandem for accurate data interpretation. Now, let's dive into the hands-on segment. Our dataset for today is themed around baseball, trying to find the sweet spot for home runs. And the dataset includes columns like match date, pitchers, batter, ball velocities upon hitting, and hit angles, distances traveled, and outcomes like flyouts and home runs. I've also categorized some variables for clarity, such as categorizing balls as miss or hit. Those who are eager to follow along can find the dataset label baseball.csv on our shared Google Drive provided on the link below. So let's move on to HEARTCOUNT, and I'm going to log in via my Google account. Okay, and I'm going to change this to English. And remember, you can easily drag and drop the dataset to the screen here, and that was saved in my local. Okay, so click continue. Data profiling involves examining over records, viewing data distributions like launch angles, exit velocity, distance, and understanding various statistical measures such as maximum, mean, and minimum. Okay, and we'll look deeper to individual record analysis. So let's click continue and start UDA. First, I'm going to set the y-axis to distance, x-axis to the event. For instance, when considering distances of home runs, the average is approximately 397 over 510 cases. However, the distance for other outcomes like sacrifice, flies, double plays, it's very similar, but has a much fewer instances, triple as well. Okay, so these kind of insights are valuable, but delving deeper into individual records is equally important, which entails studying distribution via box plots. So right here, you can see that there's only one record for sac, fly, double plays, or triple plays. Yeah, bunt, ground, and sacrifice bunt as well. And also, you see that home runs don't really have much outliers. However, flyouts or pop-outs and field error has a few outliers. So this is basically what you can see by using box plots. So box plots are really practical, but they may not be the most visually interesting for presentations. Instead, we often examine confidence intervals, such as the 95% confidence interval, to discern statistically significant differences. Okay, next, I'm also going to try the y-axis with launch angles in x2 exit velocity. So analyzing the relationship between two variables, like launch angle and ball speed upon hitting, can reveal patterns, indicating whether higher launch angles correspond with slower speeds. So let's break it down into subgroups by distinguishing. So probably it should be like this in the beginning. And if we subgroup this to event using colors, this is what you'll get. Okay, so if we check one by one from double play, field error, fly out, and home runs. For instance, with home runs, a higher launch angle might indicate reduced velocity. However, field error is the opposite. But to get a more clearer view, instead of using colors, faceting can be a useful tool to break down this data. Here, this reveals the varying relationships between the launch angle and exit velocity for each event. So for this data set we have, grouping the data by events seemed like a most appropriate method. And in terms of the relationship between the ball speed, for instance, in the case of home run that we just mentioned before, there's a negative correlation. However, those fly out or this field error right here reveals a positive correlation, but it's still very weak. So such nuances and patterns can be observed across different baseball events by HEARTCOUNT and can help you find the sweet spot as well. In summary, there are various ways to visualize data, and box plots are just one of them. It's crucial to understand the underlying story the data tells. Thank you for your time with us today. So until our next session, take care.